Hello everyone, hope you're having a fantastic Monday so far. Welcome back to the Waiver Wire show. Your weekly information on one undrafted Pokemon and their potential usage in a draft league format. I'm your host Strompfel and I'm finally back after some time spent at the hospital. Yeah, I tried the flying technique that Dragon had used with the tiny wings and just did not work out for me as well. Shoutouts to Spastic of course for holding down the fort last week and making a video in my absence. I really do appreciate that, bro. But since I'm alive after my flying attempt, I figure we'd take this video to honor the ones whose attempts to fly worked out even worse than for me. Today's guest on the Waiver Wire got f***ing extinct in the Pokemon world for their flying failures and can now be only found as fossils. This information was brought to my attention by a username called BeamMeUpJesus155 on Flashback, which seems as reliable as it gets. You might be screaming,
"You are fake news. You 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 are fake."
Over and over at your computer monitor, but no matter if this is true or not, I can tell you one thing that I know for a fact, which is that today's episode is about Tyrantrum. So, looking at Tyrantrum stats, we can see that this dinosaur beast has a nice lineup. It does have a decent HP stat at 82, a very solid attack stat at base 121, respectable bulk on the physical side with a base 119, a little bit to be desired on the special side with a base 69 and 59, and last but not least the speed tier, which isn't fantastic but definitely not the worst that we have worked with at only base 72. Overall, this Pokemon is going to win every single 1v1 on the physical side, but it's not really going to stand a chance versus any sort of special attacker. Tyrantrum is a Rock and Dragon typing, which is a very deadly combination from an offensive side of view. Rock is usually a typing which many teams lack a resist for, especially with some coverage for those steel types. Now, Dragon as a secondary stat might not help in this particular fight for those steel types, but Dragon is a very useful offensive typing. Without a fairy, not even steels will be able to switch in on a stab boosted Dragon attack too comfortably from this beast. Defensively, the typing is, well, not the best. Okay, completely sucks. You really have to make me say it out loud. Okay, fine, whatever, let's move on. The Rock and Dragon dual typing leaves Tyrantrum weak to some very common offensive typings, such as Ground, Fighting, Ice, and Dragon itself, which is not what you want. I know you're all sitting on the edge of your seats, eager to find out the answer to the question if there's any reason to draft this Tyrantrum other than its badass design, and oh boy, there is, and now we'll get into the pros for the Pokemon. Tyrantrum is a very difficult Pokemon to deal with for your opponents, as goddamn can it do damage. Tyrantrum has a lot of options when it comes to making your opponent wet their pants. Base 122 is nothing to laugh at, and its speed tier allows Tyrantrum to be a very solid choice scarfer too. This behemoth does get access to the Dragon Dance, which is very useful when it comes to sweeping. But your question might be, what can we even do with our boost? What can we hit our opponent with? And to that I'd say we can always bash our opponent's heads in with our head. Go 100% Zidane on the opposing side of the field. We will cause some bruises with these headbutts. Head Smash is a 150 base power physical rock move which Tyrantrum does get access to. But can we make this attack even more perfectly suited for this Pokemon?
Yes, we can.
The one downside with this move is that you do need to take 50% recall, but you don't even need to take the recall because you do have the ability Rock Head on Tyrantrum, which is awesome. This makes you able to spam Head Smash as much as you like without a downside at all. Last thing to touch on is the fact that Tyrantrum has some very solid bulk on the physical side, and it will be able to tank some neutral hits, or even maybe some super effective if you invest. This will allow you to get up Stealth Rocks, maybe set up a Dragon Dance or two, or just go bananas with Head Smash. But Tyrantrum wasn't picked by our adorable coaches, so something must be up with the cons which scared them away. The first con with Tyrantrum kinda contradicts the last pro, but Tyrantrum's special bulk is a completely different story. With only base 59's PDAF, we ain't taking that many hits. Sure, you can get hit by a car and probably alright from the physical hits, but if someone trips and throws a cup of water at you, that's it, you're done. Thank you for playing your journey with Dancing with the Stars ends here. Game over, thank you for playing and auf Wiedersehen. This makes Tyrantrum kind of a 50-50 Pokemon, which will only work if your opponent only has physical coverage. Next con is a good Waiver Wire classic. The Pokemon is slow as a motherfucker. Sure, you can run a choice card, but that takes away your item and it locks you into a move, which is not the best. Base 72 is something you should not hang in the Christmas tree and be too proud of, and a lot of other Pokemon, even defensive walls, will be able to outspeed you and cripple you with status or damage. Last but not least is the fact that Tyrantrum is very predictable with what it does. When it arrives on the battlefield, it will most likely try to head smash something, and if you're no dum-dum, you have prepared for this situation and can play accordingly. Giving out surprises is a very hard thing to do for Tyrantrum, even though its standard sets are working perfectly fine most of the time. Now, I didn't say that surprises were impossible at all, but we need to go over the Pokemon Showdown to find out these sets, so let's just do that. Okay, so let's start simple with a nice and choice locked Tyrantrum. This set can either be a choice Scarfer if you want to be faster, or if you just want raw, unholy damage, you can always slap on the choice band on this bad boy. The main objective here is to get this Pokemon in, click head smash and then get out. We do of course have some coverage on this set, being the Outrage and the Earthquake. Outrage is a very powerful stab attack, not as powerful as head smash of course, but still it is a dragon stab. Earthquake deals with those steel types wanting to switch in, and then we do have these stealth rocks. What the fuck? Choice Scarf with stealth rocks, is that even possible? Yes, it is. If you feel like stealth rocks are important for the matchup, you can always set them up on a predicted switch out and then switch yourself out to reset the choice lock. Simple as that. We don't really need any other coverage on this set, which is why I chose stealth rocks as the last move. This is very situational, so you don't need to click it all the time. The Eevees we have here are just simple maxing speed and attack with a jolly nature to be as fast as possible. Set number 2 is a setup Tyrantrum utilizing its ability to dance like this guy. Absolutely beautiful. Main goal here is to set up a Dragon Dance on a physical opponent and then start going ham on your opponent's side of the field. It is really important that you choose a physical opponent to set up on, since we do want to try and even tank a super effective attack to activate our weakness policy. Weakness policy will boost our physical and our special attack 2 stages when hit by a super effective attack. This coupled with the Dragon Dance makes this Pokemon amazingly powerful and will be able to head smash our opponent into the next game. The coverage is pretty much the same as last set, with the head smash, the dragon stab and the earthquake. Eevees are the same too, maxing attack and speed with a jolly nature, or you can try and go for something more bulky if you want, that will also work perfectly fine. The next set that we have here is more of a supportive approach to Tyrantrum, utilizing its great physical bulk. This set is aimed to set up your stealth rocks comfortably and then be an all-around good physical sponge for your opponent. The moves that we're rocking, no pun intended of course, is of course the stealth rocks, since these little pebbles are very important. Toxic to wear down your opponent, Dragon Tail to shuffle around your opponent and prevent setup, and then we're slapping on the head smash because why the heck not? The speed Eevees we have on this set is to outrun a no speed invested base 85 Pokemon such as a Mesprit and then maximum bulk on the physical side. Moving on to this week's build set, which is a special version of Tyrantrum. And I don't really give a flying f***. This seems illogical since, hello, base 69 special attack? That's just horse shit. My little cousin has more special attack than that. But to that I say stats are just numbers and Pokemon is all about making a statement. And this statement is probably going something on the lines of, look at me, my sets are quite retarded, but at least I'll be able to laugh at you when those sets claim a kill. This set is aimed to smack your opponent with hard hitting, which is kind of an overstatement, special attacks and whip out the rock polish late game to double our speed and potentially go for the sweep. The moves that we have here are the Draco Meteor, a super powerful stab which will be able to dance something, Ancient Power since, you know, how amazing would it be to actually get the boost and actually go for some sort of mini sweep, and then the Earth Power for the steel types. I wouldn't recommend trying this set out if you're underage or if you're just a stall player with negative 12% creativity. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Waiver Wire Show. Now, if you want to be a part of the decision for next week's featured Pokemon, there's a link in the description down below that will guide you to a straw poll. The options for next week are Avalon, Crustle, Alola, Dugtrio, Vileplume, Gastrodon, Drampa, and Sableye. If you know any Pokemon that wasn't drafted and want to see it featured on the show, you can always leave them in the comments down below and I will definitely try and put them on next week's poll. I am sorry if this seems to be very kind of thrown together, but I am going away this weekend, which means that I didn't have enough time to edit all the things that I actually wanted to edit, but next week we'll go back to normal editing. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I have been your host Strompfel, and I'll see all of you at the same time next week. Goodbye.